Welcome to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast where Hot Springs Village, Arkansas is the star. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we discuss the history, facts, people, places, events, lots more surrounding Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com. Welcome back. Another episode of Hot Springs Village Inside Out. The website is HSV, stands for Hot Springs Village. hotspringsvillageinsideout.com is the website. He is the one, the only, Dennis R. We did find out stands for Ray. Hey. Dennis Ray Simpson. And we've got special guests, so I'm going to let you make the introductions, Dennis.
Well, it's actually Glen and Steph. No.
I still love you, Dennis.
I don't think I can actually recount how many mistakes I've made today, Randy. It's we're reaching biblical.
Yeah,
we're reaching.
Okay.
I think maybe we're gonna let Feelin Groovy introduce themselves so I don't do it wrong. How about that?
Okay. I'm Glen.
I'm Bethany.
Bethany. See, there's a business card on my desk, Randy, that says Bethany, but my memory's like this, and it's too many. You know, it's too many places.
That's because you're an extrovert and you talk to too many people every day.
See, that's how you keep it together. You don't talk to that many people.
I only talk to a handful of people a day, and then I've hit my limit. So
really,
then you go black and white.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm normally black and white. Exactly
what was it?
Right.
Jeff Foxworthy says that his wife uses like 5,000 words a day, and he's got like 1,000. So when she comes home, she says, "How was your day?" And he goes, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I tell you
Glen
what,
and Bethany.
Bethany and Glen, thank you. I mean,
you're welcome. And I haven't met them till today, so it's good to meet you guys. Glad that you're on the show.
You, Randy.
But you've seen them a little bit of everywhere, Randy. Wouldn't that be?
I've seen them a lot. I've seen them a lot. I mean, online.
And this is your phrase, Randy. As we hit the record button today, September the 1st. 2021. It is September the 1st. It is September the 1st. As we hit the record button today, Bethany and Glen, here at the Glen part right this time, are going to be at the Beehive tonight for open mic night. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Where you drag innocent extroverts who just happen to be walking by on their way to the bathroom, and you drag them up on stage and you make them sing with you. And it's not fair. It's not fair, I tell you.
I know. But you did very well.
Well, you're very sweet. You're very sweet. Randy kept saying he wanted some, and I'm like, man, if I screw this up and somebody's recording this, I will never hear the end of it. Well,
it got recorded, and I posted it immediately. Well, not quite immediately. I had to think about it a little bit, and this is an every Wednesday. Is this an every Wednesday night?
Every Wednesday evening, yes, from 7 to 9.
Well, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too far. But I mean, like this last Friday night, you were in Hot Springs. What were you doing there?
It was actually Saturday.
It was Saturday night.
We were at the first. We were at the Vapors for the Hot Springs Village Voice Readers' Choice Awards, which we came in first place for live performance, and that was exciting. And then we had to do a costume change because they wanted us in cocktail outfits, so we had to do that. Run into a nearby phone booth, and then go down to the Trough and do our second of 2 Woodstock shows. But some of the people from the Vapors came down, so we had a great night. It was like
almost like an after party, yeah. For all the winners that showed up.
Well, so it's all about Feelin Groovy. So how did we ever begin Feelin Groovy? How did we make it to the village? That's the question we always ask.
Okay, he got here before I did. He moved here about 7 years ago, and we met up at Pettigene Mountain. After having a few conversations on Facebook, and then we met for a hike and some photographs, and we've been history ever since. And within a year we were married and I moved down here. So I've been here 4 years. We started as the Gabourys, which is our last name, but nobody could pronounce it correctly. So we got all kinds of variations, which is not unlike my first name, as you can tell, Dennis. And I've been answering to all kinds of first names my whole life, so it really doesn't bother me anymore. And so then after we did that first open mic night at the Coronado Center.
Like the one that's coming up in October with Don Valdez.
Yeah.
We did a couple of those. And then, sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
That's okay.
After that, the following year, about February 2019, we decided, we like the 50s, 60s, 70s thing. We like dressing in the tie-dye. That's who we are. So we're, the Simon and Garfunkel song, Feelin Groovy, I decided, why don't we call ourselves that and start, making a name for us or trying to get out with that name rather than our own names. And so we did. And
it's our theme song.
The rest is history.
Now, that was 2019, you said?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not all that long ago.
No,
okay. Now, where's home? I can tell, Bethany, that you're from like Boston or somewhere, the accent, but
I love you very much, Randy. But I've been trying to get rid of this accent my whole life too. But unfortunately, I was born in Fort Smith, Van Buren area, and I've been in Arkansas most of my life. Took a brief hiatus to Texas, but that's another story in a lifetime. He's from Massachusetts.
Yeah, one of those Yankees, y'all, trying to get rid of down here.
Yeah.
And I taught him to say y'all and sweet tea and all this other stuff. So he's
Go Red
learning.
Sox.
Yeah, well, you trained him well. Yeah, well, I didn't realize the Massachusetts connection. I was being snarky, so.
Well, you got it right. You got it right.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But I lived in Memphis 10 years before I came here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bethany, I think we've had this conversation before, and that is, well, you don't sound like you're from around here, because I get that a lot more than once too. But
yeah.
I always said that every good businessman in Arkansas has two dialects. Bethany, Jeet, Jungle, get something? Or, yes, we can have that for you on Tuesday, Randy. How would you like that delivered?
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I have my business mode, and then I have my Feelin Groovy mode, and don't get me around my kids or my grandkids, because the country comes out.
So I got to ask, so what did two extroverts, how did you, two extroverts, right?
No, we're introverted extroverts.
Randy, these are your people.
These are my people.
Exactly.
These are exactly my people. We're introverts that look like extroverts.
Exactly.
Yeah, the world doesn't get it. They don't understand it.
No, they don't.
We can be very quiet most of the time, but when the music starts or we start having impassioned conversations.
Really?
Then we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a few subjects we've learned to just don't start the conversation unless you've got all night to finish it, because we're going to keep going for several hours.
So let me get this straight. So opinionated, introverted extroverts. I'm just making
Exactly.
sure.
Groovy, opinionated,
Very
introverted
groovy.
extra. Yes.
Very groovy about it, you know.
Randy,
Because
if you
really,
were groovy, that would be you. I mean, if you groove,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I am
well,
groovy.
we really do try to.
I am groovy. I don't always feel groovy, but you know,
But you are groovy.
yeah, they're always feeling groovy. Okay, tell me about the music background. I want to hear about your musical backgrounds.
You go
What
ahead
got
and
you
go
to
first, because yours is more interesting than mine.
Well, believe it or not, and I started accordion lessons when I was about 6 years old back in Massachusetts. It was a thing in the Northeast. And
Lawrence Welk.
Yeah,
Think
really?
Lawrence Welk.
wonderful. And now, anyway.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went through college on accordion, actually. I have a music degree. And but during that time, when I got older and I started playing in bands and stuff, you know, it wasn't really cool in the 70s to play in an accordion in a band. So my dad got me a keyboard, and I eventually got one of those Fender Rhodes and got an organ and other things, and played in rock bands. So top 40 bands, no, all those songs we do as oldies. But that's kind of how I got started. So I did the official training in college, but I also played popular music on the side for a while in some bands up in Massachusetts and later in Memphis too. And then, but I didn't really do the acoustic thing very much. So that's kind of a new thing.
Well, man, the accordion, I mean, from Counting Crows to Mumford, I mean, there's some accordion stuff in a lot of songs.
We actually played accordion at the Beehive for their Mardi Gras thing. They got desperate. They couldn't get any Cajun bands. So
in the area.
I said, well, I'll do something. And he said, okay. So there's actually a video on our page that has me playing the accordion and with some Cajun music. So
yeah, well, see, I'm an LSU boy, so the Zydeco, the Southern Louisiana, I get
there
it.
You go.
I get it.
Louisiana State University, I understand.
So, Glenn, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. You weren't the best accordion player. You were just one they could find. Is that right?
Yeah, they couldn't find anything else, and they were doing it. They were doing Beehive, and they were doing it with Krakus at the time, was bringing the food, so it was kind of a joint thing. And they were like, "Well, what are we going to do for entertainment?" And I said, "Well, I don't know anybody, but I'll help you out." So I was king.
So has music been part of your? I mean, describe music in your life. I mean, was it what did you do for a living? What was your career?
Well, I've had a number of them. I was actually a music teacher for a while, but I got laid off back many years ago. And then I started teaching other things, eventually went into ministry for several years. And since coming to the village, I've been doing whatever I can because there's not a lot out there. But but music has been part of my life all the way through. I've either been playing it in church or playing it in a band or playing it in some capacity. So it's always.
Were your parents? Did you grow up in a music creating household? Or?
My mom didn't play. My dad played ukulele. He fooled around with ukulele, and I guess they encouraged me to. They got me into accordion lessons, and they encouraged me to play in bands and stuff. So they're very supportive, but I wouldn't call them musical people by any stretch.
See, I'm the wannabe. I'm the wannabe. I've owned guitars. I have within 10 feet of me. I've got an acoustic guitar in a case. I've had an acoustic guitar for as long as I can remember. Mm-hmm. I can't play a single chord. I do not know a single chord. But I've owned guitars. I know way more about guitars than any non-playing guitarist that I know of.
Well, there you go.
I love them. What I finally realized, I'm more in love with watching people play it and listening to them play it than I am learning how to do it myself. So that's my story. Bethany, let's hear about yours.
Oh, goodness. Well, mine started at birth. I came out singing, I heard. But yeah, I hit that high C immediately. My parents were very musical. My mother was an organist and a pianist in the church. And so music was always a big part of our life. We had one of those old Depression pianos, one of the old uprights in the house. And so she was always playing and getting all the kids to sing with her. And of course, I was the sucker who wasn't old enough to go anywhere. So, because everybody's 12 and 15 years older than me. So I was the forgotten child at home who learned a lot about singing and harmonizing. And my father was a self-taught musician, and he played just about everything from an old pump organ to the banjo to drums. I even heard him play the drums once or twice. He played bass mostly and rhythm guitar. So I was never hurting for music. There was always something going on in the house, even when the houses were in different cities, which a lot of people did in the 60s. And, but anyway, Dad had a band, little crappy band, just a bunch of old guys picking and grinning. And I was the girl singer. So I got up there and did that, but I continued musical training, true musical voice lessons and training when I got to junior high and high school. And I was entered in a lot of competitions singing classical music and operatic. I was a first operatic soprano back in the day. I'm no longer able to reach those notes. I don't care how big the forklift is to get me up there. It's not happening. But I didn't lose those qualities of breath control, though I did stop music for over 30 years when my dad died. So it's kind of odd to not have music in my life for all those years. And yeah, I get a little choked up about it when I think about how many years I went without it, because I never want to be without it again. And luckily, the Lord answered a prayer for me, and I wrote it down. I wrote everything I wanted in a guy, and I wrote a big list, and I stuck it in my mother's Bible, and I prayed over it, and I just put it away for about 6 months. And he showed up. And on our first date, we're driving down the road at Pettigene in the pickup truck, and he says, "I like to play music." I said, "Good. I used to be a girl singer." I started singing, and the next thing you know, we're singing and having a good time. And we even sang at our wedding to each other. That's where we kind of came out of the musical closet. And everybody already knew he played music because he played it at church every Sunday. And I would have been hiding in the back pew and nobody knew I sang yet. So that kind of broke that open. And so we've not really stopped.
That's
we
awesome.
sing a lot. We rehearse almost every day.
A little bit each day.
A little bit each day. When COVID hit and the world went on seclusion and kind of hiding from each other, we didn't. We just pulled out all the oldies we could think of and start making a list of new songs we wanted to add and more shows we wanted to develop. And set lists, we've got about 400 on the tablet of songs that we've either done here at the house or we've sang out in public. And we've got over a dozen different types of shows already built, so that if anyone wanted a themed party, we've got costuming, we've got the set list all ready to go. And so now it's just, keep them rehearsed, keep things flowing, and add new ones when we can.
Well, the host at the master of ceremonies at the 4th of July bash told me that y'all did a fantastic job, and that you and the host and his wife said y'all had a discussion about where you got your outfits from, which I thought was pretty funny, because apparently you and Diane both go to Salvation Army on a regular basis. Who knew?
Yes.
Right?
Or Restore or Goodwill. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But my sister,
his sister made the t-shirts.
Made my t-shirts, and I didn't even know I had a sister till 2 years ago. So
are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got
he found his blood family,
and I found out I had I have more than one sister, but this particular sister I found out and met 2 years ago, and she decided that she was going to bless us and make us some Feelin Groovy t-shirts. So there you go.
All right. Well, now you got to tell that story.
Yeah,
I mean, how did this discovery happen? She found you? You found her?
Kind of mutual. You've heard of Ancestry.com, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I got on it because they had this discount, and I actually, Bethany's sister-in-law had used it, and she said, "Hey, I found some relatives from that Glen. You might want to check it out when they have a discount." So I said, "Okay, I'll do that." And so I did. And at first I found what appeared to be a cousin, but he was actually a nephew. And we kind of conversed a little bit. And then he was like, "Well, I don't know how genuine this is, And so he gets his mom, who is actually my sister, and he says, "Mom, you need to go on there and have it done and see if anything happens." Well, as it turned out, we come up 100% match, which is my 100% blood sister. And then I have some half sisters too. But a couple of years ago, she and her daughter, which would be my niece, of course, came down. They stayed over at Los Lagos, and we had a few days together. And that's it was wonderful. And she's a sister I would have loved to have growing up.
Now, where does she live?
Houston area.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't know I had other family members. I knew I was adopted, but I didn't know the details until a couple of years ago.
And now some of our friends have done it, and they found their birth families as well.
Right. So
I said this on another show, but Diane and I did it to prove we weren't related. So
there you go. Well, I can understand.
Yeah, my sister, one of the things she said was, we grew up fairly close together in the same area, but we didn't know each other. She said, "Wouldn't it have been weird if we dated or something?"
And she's tall and she's thin and she's athletic and she's beautiful. That could have been a possibility. Just his type. What he's doing with short, little, curly-haired me, I have no idea.
But we love her and she loves us.
Oh, she's a doll. Yeah. I love all his sisters. They're great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What a story. I would have never in a million years. We still haven't heard, Glenn, how you made it to the village. I don't know this story at all. How did you get there?
I actually drove, but
with a U-Haul behind him.
Well, I was doing ministry in Memphis for about 10 years, previous 4 years of that, actually in rescue mission ministry, which is working with the homeless and working with drug and alcohol addicted people and so on and so forth. And finally got kind of burned out living in Memphis and doing that. And I had purchased a very inexpensive house here, knowing that I didn't want to retire in Memphis. I knew, hey, if I finish up there, I'm not going to want to stay there. There's just not that much recreational and it's getting rough and so on and so forth. So I didn't own a house there. I was living in ministry housing, so like a parsonage. And so I decided to come here. And I bought something here, and then I thought I'm just going to rent it out for a while. And when things kind of fell through and I got kind of burned out, things kind of went negative. I said, well, I've got a house here, so where else am I going to go? I'm going to come here. So I moved here and, got a couple of U-Hauls and pulled them here. Got a guy from my band who was actually the drummer in the band I was in there, offered to help me, and we moved my stuff here. And that was 7 years ago in July.
Now, what prompted you to buy a house in Hot Springs Village?
Well, I had visited Hot Springs. When you're in Memphis, you either go 3 hours to Nashville, 3 hours to Hot Springs, maybe 3 hours north, but there's not much around there that's very different. So I had a friend of mine who I had worked with, said, hey, you got to check out Hot Springs sometime. So I started vacationing here. And then I thought the village was some little section of Hot Springs, down off Central Avenue, we just had a few stores.
Everyone thinks that.
I never bothered to find out until I was looking at houses in Hot Spring. And then it's, well, what's this Hot Springs Village thing? So I got online and I checked it out and made an appointment with a real estate person to show me around. I got the grand tour, and, it was cool, and got to see the restaurants, eat in a couple of them, and see where the beaches were and all that. And so I decided, this is much safer if I'm going to buy a home and leave it unoccupied or leave it only rented. It's safer in a gated community than outside. And then I can come here and vacation here too so that was kind of the motivation. It was a choice of places, and it just seemed like the best choice of the available, and it was affordable compared to anywhere else. I mean, it wasn't any more. So, and I just love the beach. I love the trails and the outdoor things to do. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of like, I don't have to go, 20 miles. Yeah, swimming, hiking.
Recently, we took up kayaking during COVID. It's been a lot of fun. The first year we wore ourselves out, we kayaked every weekend. This summer, not as frequently, but we're hoping to get back to doing it a lot more as things start to cool off.
But anyway, it was the recreation here that kind of motivated me to come here and just being in a quiet area. And then, of course, we got the music started, and that's been different. And so, it's been a cool experience, and we're just hoping it gets better and better.
Well, Bethany, where were you living when you met him at Petit Jean? And apparently Petit Jean was like some kind of neutral location. So
yeah, it was the halfway point between us.
Well, and here's where I'm going with that, because when you're going to meet somebody cold new for the first time, and you have a little list of God's people that you want in your Bible, and you're waiting, and when he walks in, there's not always a ray of sunshine that comes from the heavens that says, yeah, this may be or may not be him, right?
Right, exactly. Right? Yeah.
And you obviously, when you started singing, you knew this was him, but until then you were living where, and what did you think when you got to the village?
I was living in Van Buren in what we lovingly call a mansion in the country. It was a double wide. Mine was not doing so well. It was in very bad condition. And I had family living around me. So, single lady living there with my grandchildren, by the way, and one of my kids and his wife. And so I meet him, and then he, invites me down to the village for some dates. And of course, he shows me everything. And we had a lot of dates at Waypoint where we, sipped frozen coffee drinks. Oh yeah. Watched the boats go by, watched people kayaking and having all kinds of fun. And then we went to Balboa Beach several times. And it was kind of funny because during one of these dates, we had been talking goofy, for like four or 5 weeks. And he, this couple, after we'd been swimming, she came over and she said, do you live here? And I said, no, I'm just visiting my friend here. And she said, so has he sold you on the village yet? And I said, well, it's really starting to grow on me. I really think I could hang here. It's a really cool place. And we get in the pickup truck to leave. And he says, why don't we just get married? I'm like, okay.
Well, I didn't say it quite that way.
No, pretty close.
What a romantic.
I
oh my
know,
God.
Right? He didn't even get down on his knee. We were both in wet bathing suits.
Well,
and, no ring, but that's okay, So we worked it out, and
we actually got engaged, but it was almost like a pre-engagement, because we said, we're between the two of us, we're going to be engaged, but we're not going to announce it until we've made plans. Have a little bit more ducks in a row and made some plans. So that's how we did it, and that turned out to be a blessing to do it that way.
Yeah,
rather than putting it out there and then everybody's asking you what's your date, we don't have it and all that. So,
and what are you going to do with your house? And what are you going to do with this?
So we got married at Pettigene too.
And so, when it came to where are we going to live, Van Buren or here, for me, it was a no-brainer. This house had a roof that wasn't leaking. So it's like, oh yeah, the village, And then it was, we can go swimming anytime we want to. We're a mile from the beach one way. We're 8 miles from the other one. And we can have fun here all the time. And then I got to thinking, I work in Van Buren. I've worked in Van Buren 18 years for the same company. What in the world am I going to do? And with a lot of his support and the realization that there was some technology coming down the pike that could make this a little more user-friendly and possible, I wrote a proposal to my company for me to go remote, to at least give it a whirl.
And this was before the pandemic. This was before the pandemic, right?
Way before the pandemic. And so over the last 4 years, since the day we got married, I've worked remotely from home. At first, I was driving to Van Buren 2 days a week, every week for several months. And then they said, nope, you can go full time from the village. You don't have to drive back and forth anymore unless you need to. And so I pretty much do everything from here.
That's excellent.
It's been a blessing. And through this experiment, I think they were able to put a lot of wonderful things in place that when the pandemic hit, our company was ready to go. I don't think we really missed a beat.
That's excellent. Okay, I got to ask, what songs did you sing to each other at your wedding?
Ooh, good song.
Does If by Bread?
Yep.
Yeah. We sang it as a duet. We rewrote it.
Oh, there you go.
Duet. Yeah. We do that all the time. We're always.
Did you play, Glenn? Did you play?
Absolutely.
Yes, I played, and we both sang, and we were in our wedding outfits or whatever you call them. And and we did it as, a break. And that's the only song we did. The rest we had recorded music.
But it was kind of cool because some people from the church that we went to decided to do something impromptu near the bathrooms, and they wouldn't let us go over there and find out what was going on.
Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom.
And my granddaughter wouldn't let him go near it because I was out front getting my picture taken. I mean, it was everybody was acting like a bunch of nuts. But they had gathered at the side of the bathrooms and were rehearsing a song they performed for us during our wedding. And the song Hallelujah that everybody, sings these days. They rewrote the words about us. And talking about how he finally found the one and he finally got married and, and that I was this gorgeous bride and blah, blah, blah. I love him to death. But we couldn't have gone wrong. There were 9 pastors at that wedding, and 3 other people who attended have become pastors since then. So there was no way we were getting out of this.
No, one was from Jamaica, so hey.
Yes, we were very international. We had a Hispanic Baptist pastor who did the opening prayers and a Jamaican pastor who did the homily. He came all the way from Jamaica to do our
wedding. He did.
Man, look at you guys.
Yeah, so.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? We're more than groovy. We're something.
We're internationally groovy.
Yeah.
Well, so it looks like to me, I'm just a casual observer, and I love catching up with you, but
yeah,
it looks like to me, you guys are singing most every weekend somewhere or every week.
Actually, that's probably that's a dirty myth.
No, it's not accurate. It's not 100% accurate.
We do,
but we would love it to be that way.
Yeah, or at least most. What we generally do, this is probably more accurate. We do every Wednesday at the Beehive for the open mic night. They requested that, so that's what we do. We do about once a month at the Beehive for a 2-hour show, which can vary from the Woodstock show. We're doing a 50-60 sock hop in
September 10th. Friday
10th.
night, September 10th. Bring you Bobby socks, man.
Yeah. And then we do other shows as they become available, like we did the Trough and others. But we're really only doing once or twice a month for a show. And then
But we are for hire.
Yes, we're for hire.
We are for hire for private parties. And
yeah, we do have one of those next month, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And it's a wedding anniversary / wedding.
And we've done a couple employee appreciation parties for some of the winners, actually, of the other winners in the
we did Melinda's employee appreciation party, and we did Clampett's Christmas party last year.
Yeah, so we always get good food too.
So I guess if I called 501-408-9466, I could learn more booking information.
Absolutely.
Or Feelin Groovy,
or come see us at the Beehive.
I was going to say, or Feelin Groovy hsv@gmail.com.
Now, the website, does the website have 2 G's or 1 G?
Just one G in the middle.
Like the song.
Yeah.
And then we're at Facebook at Feelin Groovy too.
Yeah, there you go. All right, before we get to the lightning round, I gotta ask. So give those of us that have never experienced the open mic, how does this work?
Okay, open mic. We are just the MCs.
Okay.
He brings his guitar. I bring a few things to bang on and try to make a little noise. Hopefully it sounds like light percussion, but it's iffy. People bring their instruments, or they tell us they want to sing. Some of them bring accompaniment tracks on their phones, and they hook up. And they get up there, and they become the star. And some people take over, and we let them. You know, hey, you want to do 5-6 songs? Fine. We're going to order something. You know, we're going to order a Diet Coke and have a sit down and take your picture. But really, it's even our shows are not about us. It's about the music. That's what open mic night is. It's not about us. It's about the other people and what music is in them that they want to share.
Sure. And we work with them if they need accompaniment. I mean, if I don't know the song, I don't know the song. I mean, we don't really have signups. We tried that and we weren't getting people to really do that. And so, you know, they weren't contacting Greg over at the Beehive. They weren't contacting me. So we were both like, we don't know. So we just kind of opened it up and said, you know, we'll see how it goes each week.
And as Dennis says, I drag people out of the bathroom. So, you know.
Innocent, just walking by people.
Not even innocent, man. You just started singing as you come out of the bathroom, and you better not let me hear you because I'll drag you up there.
I was innocent at the moment you grabbed me, okay. For that couple of seconds. Yeah. But Randy, to fill you in on more of the pieces, there's a guy with a saxophone. There's a guy who is fantastic on harmonica. Oh my God, I could listen to him.
He's been fabulous. Yeah,
he is literally world class. But and to fill in the blank, Randy, when during the slow periods or when they're waiting somebody to stand up or whatever, Feelin Groovy does the job, and it's fantastic. So I mean, you guys get to sing 10, 15, 20 songs a night. Mm-hmm. And then that basically fills in between anybody who comes up. Between
we use it to try out new material. It's an extra rehearsal for us, one less from the living room.
Or sometimes we'll take a favorite or something.
Or somebody will yell out a request.
Or we'll preempt the show. We'll say, this is what's coming up next month, and we'll do a couple from it.
Yeah,
you know, kind of.
Well, with 400
and of course,
songs,
if there's a birthday or an anniversary in the house, we try to go crazy.
With 400 songs and a dozen or more different kinds of shows, I mean, you're pretty prepared for any occasion that anybody would want to call you and book you for.
Exactly. We even fill in case of an emergency if somebody can't make it that's already booked. We're
as long as we're not.
You know, as long as we're not, we can be available.
All right. What didn't we ask Dennis that we want to before we get to our lightning round?
Where are you going to be next? You're going to be at the Beehive later this month, and then where else?
We're going to be at the Beehive on September 10th from 7 to 9. It's a 50-60 sock hop. So we're going to do it just like an old sock hop. It'll be acoustic sock hop, but it'll be a sock hop nonetheless. And we'll do the songs that are typically older than the ones we usually do. We're usually like mid-60s to mid-70s. This will be more like mid-50s to mid-60s. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be different.
And then, of course, every Wednesday night at the Beehive. from 7 to 9.
Beyond that, we don't have anything else scheduled except the private party in September, but
we do have once a month booking at the Beehive, October the 22nd, November.
Can't remember.
And then December.
Well, hopefully after this airs, you'll be booked solid.
Oh, we hope so. We hope so. Because it's something we love to do. And right now we need the work. So.
Yeah, and that was my point. I was going to say there are availabilities and they're great. They really, the wonderful sets. Truly entertaining.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Hey, costuming is provided, and you can tell us if you want an elegant show or you want something crazy. We can do that.
That's awesome. All right, we've got a lightning round, and you both have to answer. You don't have to answer at the same time. Well, it's going to be really, really easy and fun. Hiking, boating, golf, or tennis?
Hiking.
Hamburger or taco?
Hamburger.
Either. Do I have to say one? Hamburger then.
Beaches or woods?
Beaches.
Comedy or mystery?
Probably comedy.
Appetizer or dessert?
I'm going to go with the appetizer.
I'm all about dessert.
All right, we got to ask, what's the appetizer?
Well, I don't know, whatever you have. They had some great
stuffed mushrooms, fried pickles, fried cheese.
Yeah,
okay,
we like it all.
What's the dessert?
Anything keto that we can have. Cookies, cupcakes that I make out of keto stuff.
Really? There you go.
I made peach cobbler last night.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to hear about this.
I do. I live close by. I want to hear all about this, Randy.
I'm close. Okay, this is a stupid one, but I'm going to ask anyway. Dress or casual?
What?
Dress or casual?
We're usually casual.
We're always casual.
Yeah,
but we can get dressy.
Yeah, look at our picture in the Village Voice.
Yep.
We are.
He spiffs up in a suit real good.
We clean up good.
Yeah, well, good. Okay, reading, watching, or listening?
A little of everything.
A little of everything.
Stripes or plaids?
Probably stripes.
Yeah, as long as they're going vertical.
Favorite movie?
Oh, man, there's too many.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Or Gone with the Wind.
Yeah,
I Can Only Imagine was a fantastic movie. I remember that. That was fantastic.
Yeah, we own it. We watch it a lot. And of course, right now we watch The Chosen a lot from the app.
But that's not a movie.
It's an ongoing series about the ministry of Christ. And
that's all right.
Every time
it counts.
Out. Hey, come and see and get used to different. Absolutely.
Okay, these last two are right in your wheelhouse. Favorite musician or band?
Ooh, there's too many. Maybe
Beatles.
The Beatles are certainly one of them.
Yes.
And we love the Beach Boys too.
Yeah, Beatles, Beach Boys.
Okay, I'm going to add one. I'm adding this last one to the mix. The very first concert you went to.
For me, we'll have to do these separate. For me, as far as I know, it was either the Irish Rovers back in 1967 or the Buckinghams, if you remember them. Kind of a drag. Yeah. I saw them with my dad.
Okay, my very first concert was in 2010. I went to see Cher in concert in Tulsa, and it was Pat Benatar opened for her, doing an acoustic set with her husband, which was cool. And then our first concert together, we went to Amplify Fest, and we saw Matthew West, Jordan Felice, and the Newsboys. God's Not Dead.
Yeah, look at you.
We just went to Amplify Fest again just a few weeks ago. We love that thing.
And we're going to Skillet on Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to go see Skillet at Magic Springs on Saturday. We are panheads.
Look at y'all. Okay, Dennis, I haven't asked you that. What was the first concert you ever went to?
The first real concert was Billy Joel in 1976, The Piano Man.
Ooh. Oh, and I would have loved it.
I remember, and I want to bring back the Sail On, the Beach Boys y'all were with the other night.
I
want to bring that up. But no, that was, I remember because I thought it was unique because it may have been 77, but they were talking about it wasn't that loud of a concert. Because it's piano, Billy Joel, that kind of thing. But it was studio quality. And I remembered at that point in time, Randy, as an audiophile wannabe, I remembered thinking, man, it can be like this. It doesn't have to be blaringly loud. It can be a little quieter and be extremely high quality. It was a great concert. But I want to go back to them real quick, and I want to hear yours also, Randy. But you guys were hanging out with Sail On, the Beach Boys knockoff band this last week. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we attended the show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And they were great from what I hear. I wasn't able to.
Oh, it was fabulous. There was one whole row going nuts right in front of us. And I was like, man, I love their spirit. I needed to have been in that row.
I got to see the Beach Boys back in the 70s, the Beach Boys. So it was a good memory of that.
He's had all the fun.
Yeah.
He's older. That's why he gets to do that.
Yeah.
And Randy's older.
He's not that much older. He's only 5 years.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Randy, where was your first concert, buddy?
Three Dog Night.
Oh, we saw them.
I've seen them 3 times.
Three Dog Night. English Dan and John Ford Coley were the opening act. And then the next week I saw Bread.
Oh, cool.
I'm 64. It was 50. It was over 50 years ago. I was 13. So it was a good year.
Did they play Guitar Man?
Sounds like it.
It was a pretty good year.
They played Guitar Man at the concert.
They played everything. Well, they played the song that
they played.
These guys sang.
I would have loved to have heard that.
Yeah, it was terrific. And I saw Three Dog Night when all three were still alive and doing well, and there were 3 dogs.
Now there's only one dog in the pack.
Yeah, exactly.
And that dog's on oxygen, by the way, just in case you're curious. He sings and then goes. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
That's sad.
All right, well, take us home, Dennis.
Well, but wonderful to have Bethany and Glen. Great. Our Feelin Groovy friends. If you want to book them, I highly recommend it. Great show. Wonderful and flexible like you cannot fathom. But if you want to check us out, we're at Hot Springs Village, Inside Out, HSV, Inside Out, the short version, with over 100 YouTube followers, with over 1,000. I just pulled that out of my ear and that hurt right there.
Yeah, we've actually got, as we hit record.
I can't hear you until I get back in here. Hang on. So
as we hit record, we have 1,040 people in our Facebook group, so I'll hawk that. Facebook icon at our website, hsvinsideout.com. Go ahead.
And for Hot Springs Village Inside Out, I'm Dennis Simpson.
I'm Randy Cantrell.
And you have a great evening. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a podcast where Hot Springs Village, Arkansas is the star. Please subscribe to the podcast. You can do that by visiting our website, hsvinsideout.com, and tell a friend.